it's a question that we ask ourselves a lot. What am I doing? I can't believe I'm in a freezing cold pool at 6 a.m.
It's kind of like a full-time job. I mean, yeah, we'll have 2-hour workout in the morning, and then we'll come back 2.5 hours in the afternoon. But in between then, I mean, you're still thinking about, you know, what am I going to eat that's going to fuel me for my next workout? How am I going to recover from the workout that I just did? And can I fit in a nap for a little, you know, extra energy later?
We tend to believe that we're some of the hardest working athletes out there. We take a lot of pride in our fitness. We take a lot of pride in our dedication.
It requires a lot of sacrifice and not a lot of rewards, but most of them are intrinsic and come from, you know, our joy of being in the water and the love that we have for our teammates that we can sacrifice for them.
It's just this unbelievable connection with the water. It's, I mean, I feel at home in the water. It's kind of where I want to be when I have free time. So sometimes it's not even about a sport, it's just about a way of life.
Let's go, we should be working down here.
Basketball is probably the biggest, like, readership for stories at the Wildcat, because, you know, it is a basketball school, and people generally don't care as much about the smaller sports like swimming, softball, you know, all those other sports. They might be better on paper, they might have better teams overall than the basketball team, but doesn't mean that the fans and the readers care about that as much. So you got to prioritize what you put in your section.
I mean, it's definitely a sport that doesn't get a lot of publicity and doesn't get a lot of recognition. Obviously, we just had a national championship and we weren't on the front page of even our college newspaper. So
when the swim team was about to win their Pac-10 championship in February, and we figured, hey, we should put them on the front, because we should put them above basketball, because it's a much bigger story than what it would be.
You can't help but feel that you're kind of being gypped a bit. You know, when you open up your school newspaper and on the front page, they'd rather put how one team lost, and, you know, we may have won a meet, and that gets 6 lines on the back page.
The news editor is responsible for what goes on the front of the actual paper, and he felt that the basketball stories and what was going to happen after the season was over would generate more interest amongst the readers than the national championship.
We had a swim story budgeted each of the last 6 weeks of the swim season. Any swim feature, anything related to members of the swim team, just anything. And we actually never got a single story from our writer.
The swim stories, especially at the beginning of the season, they were getting briefed, and, you know, that is frustrating as a writer, but it's something that you have to expect. You know, the lesser sports aren't always going to get that kind of coverage, but they started to pick up steam, and, you know, the men's team went undefeated. They both won national championships, and you can't brief that stuff.
A few days after the men won the national championship, just 8 days after the women won their national championship, he finally decided to write a little column about the swim team. But I mean, it's something I wasn't too happy about, because it's something that I had asked him to do, and he just didn't do it.
At McHale Center, the men's team had a meet and greet, same type of deal, and I went in there and was asking, you know, where is everything going on, and the guy asked me what publication I was from, and I said I was from the Wildcat, and the first thing he said is, oh, how come you guys didn't put the women on the front? You know, I have to explain that that's not my decision. I'm just the writer, and I do what I can. We got emails from parents and stuff saying, you know, we slighted them and stuff like that, but I stay in contact with some of the swimmers, and, you know, I explain to them, I'm sorry, I just do what I can, and there's not really a whole lot I can do about it.
As the sports editor, I knew how good the swim team was, and I had seen the letters that we had been getting from people associated with the team, the coaches, the team managers, the players. Just today I talked to someone who said they liked the coverage that they're getting from the national championship, but it should have been there all along, just because they had such a great team.
I don't know, I think that there's definitely people to blame, and there's things that could be done, but it kind of, we can only do what we do.
we definitely don't do it for the publicity or for the fame, I guess you could say, because I feel like sports and athletes who do that aren't really in it for the true love of the sport.
It almost helps you justify why you do what you do. You know, we swim because we love it. We don't swim because we get our pictures taken because people want our autographs.
If you would ask anyone on the swim team if they would rather have a decent season but more publicity and press, or an amazing season and little to none publicity, they would definitely take the amazing season.